And is separation a fantasy, a threat, or an inevitability?
Should be a threat.
Gonna happen no matter what.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that word, but yes.
You get to a point where you're at a loss of what you don't see changes. Changes haven't been happening for a decade. At what point do you just stand up and say enough's enough?
This is the Bears Me podcast. This is the Bears Me podcast. Thanks for listening to the Bears Me podcast.
There's been a lot of talk about the Alberta separation lately.
Like in Alberta separating, like obviously I know what Alberta separating is, but you're saying more and more talk?
Yeah, more and more talk, and there's a lot of people online talking about it, and people are freaking out.
Yeah, well, people are getting upset by a lot of things, and it's funny. It's like the minute you mention that you want to separate, people immediately want to throw comments at you, like, "Well, if you hate it so much, why don't you leave?" It's like, well, I hate it so much, but I don't want to leave Canada. I just want to leave these stupid Canadian policies.
Well, that's the problem. I don't understand how people don't see at least the reason why people want to separate in this province, because the government is just forever spending money over and over again, and there seems to be no end to it. And people aren't, as if people aren't seeing the economic hardships that people are facing. How do you see that and then also ignore the reason why people want to get out of it by any means possible, even if people who want to separate don't necessarily want to leave Canada, but they feel like they have no other choice?
Well, it's because they see, they see all the money leaving Alberta and it's being spread across Canada. And then the other parts of Canada who are benefiting this money are trying to tell the Canadians where the money's coming from, that, the way of life or the way you guys do things is wrong. It's like the oil and gas industry. They're always trying to knock it down. No, we don't need pipelines. We don't need these things. I'm like, well, these things are the things that are paying for you guys.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that it's Eastern Canada who receives the majority of the equalization payments, the free money,
Yeah.
but yet they vote left. I mean, not overwhelmingly, but I mean, when you go past Quebec and on, overwhelmingly left. Meanwhile, the left is the reason why we're in this mess in the first place. You can't say that Canada was better, is better now than it was pre-2015.
No.
Objectively, like no one even has to think about it. If you just look at the country, it's in shambles.
Yeah.
The demographic is changing quickly. People can't afford anything, and you can't blame it on Trump.
No. But that's what, that's the thing. They always want to throw that out there. They'll call you a Maple MAGA, or they're like, oh, you're just a Trump supporter. I'm like, listen, I love Trump. I think he's done great things. And you know what? I'd love to be, you know what? Part of me wishes we were part of the 51st state.
Well, we would at least have somebody who is pro their country. You can say what you want about Trump. And I mean, I don't agree with everything he's doing in this term, because I've seen both sides of the argument, and it seems like overall, though, he is pro-America. And that's one thing that we're lacking. And I think people are secretly pissed off that he's actually pro his country. And yeah, maybe it is affecting us negatively, but you should be angry at the people who are supposedly leading our country for not standing up for it. That's the problem.
Well, there's just no, the one thing I really do like about the States is, if you talk to most Americans, they say they're the best.
Yeah.
And if you're, if you live in your country, you should think your country is the best. And why is it? It's like Canadians are so, it's like, well, no, we're not the best. We do okay. It's like, no, I like the fuck yeah, America. Fuck yeah, we're the best. That's the way everyone should feel about their countries. No, yeah, we are the best. We're the best. And it's like, we're not. And we don't even have much of a Canadian identity. If someone says to you, hey, what does it mean to be Canadian?
People don't have an answer.
Oh, we're known for saying sorry a lot and poutine. That's about it.
It's ridiculous.
And it's like, I used to be proud Canadian, but there's so many things in Canada where it's just every time you hear it, something come out on the news or a new law being passed or whatever, it's just like immediate eye roll. It's like, oh God, same thing all the time. Just we don't see change, and it's like we're being tolerate. Like we tolerate everyone's bullshit that comes here, and it's like even the people who are born here too. It's like some of their bullshit. It's just like, why are we tolerating this? Why are we giving money away? Why are we changing, Canadian values for foreign values?
Well, Kanye said that Muslim values are Canadian values, right?
No, they're not. The religion of Islam is not compatible with Western civilization.
No, it's really not.
And you know what? Yeah, no, Canadian values are not Islam values by any means. And more Canadians need to start realizing that. We have to stop bending the knee to every foreigner that comes here when they bring their religion, their ideology, and their beliefs and values. No. If you're going to come to Canada, represent Canada. It's like how we go into, well, I mean, we'll talk about that later in the episode here about, raising another country's flag. And listen, it's totally okay to be proud of where you come from. I get that. But if you're in Canada, you should be representing Canada first. If you're flying a flag, it should be the Canadian flag above all else. If you want to fly the country's flag that you came from, sure, but it should not be higher than the Canadian flag ever.
Well, centuries ago, that would mean that you've taken over that land.
Yeah.
You conquered that land by raising your flag in another country's territory.
And it's nonsense.
And even the Muslims, there's only 10% of them are actually radical. So it's not, the big majority of them are not. But the problem is when you allow the radicals in the country, which they have,
Yeah.
and you allow them to do things like that, like raise their own flag, it sets a precedent. It says that, okay, we're weak, we're allowing another country, which is, not, their values do not align with ours, to raise their flag in our country, in our city hall, or wherever, and nobody says anything about it. And the funny thing is that it's the left, the liberal people who are pro all of this. Meanwhile, their values certainly do not align with Muslim values.
No.
All these women, the liberal women who are voting for these things and allowing these people to come here and saying that you're racist if you oppose any of these ideas.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, look at the way women are oppressed in those countries. Whether you agree with it or not, I mean, that's besides the point. They can do what they want in their countries, but they don't have any rights compared to women in Western society.
Well, it's like, so liberal women, they want to be free and, sexually free and show off everything. I'm like, well, the things that you guys are protesting and fighting for those people, they're like, it's a hard stop. They don't know. So it's like, at this point, it's like, well, okay, well, do you want to see what happens when these people get in power, or not even get in power, but you go to the UK. There's places in the UK where, I don't know if it's Sharia law that's passed, but it's like everyone's covered up. If you're not from there, they're like, yeah, don't go down there. You'll get harassed. You'll get treated like shit in their own country.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine living in Calgary and they're like, no, you can't go into this part of Calgary because, this minority group has a certain way of living and they don't like the way that you live. I'm sorry, where are we? Is this the Middle East or is this Canada?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's the problem, is that they have those no-go zones and the police aren't enforcing anything. They're not saying, this is our country, this is how we live here. If they were forced to assimilate, they probably wouldn't be there in the first place. They would just leave.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the politicians and the lawmakers are bending to all these minority groups, and they're funding their communities. If you're from, let's not pick on the Muslims completely. If you're from any minority group within our country that's moved here as an immigrant, you can pledge to your local municipality and say, hey, we have a national holiday coming up from our country. Can we get funding from taxpayers to fund this? And they have committees of people from the Filipino group, from all these other little groups, where they will send this to the government, the city government, and they will get grants.
Yeah.
And we're funding Diwali, we're funding these other festivals from other countries.
Well, it's like the Palestine thing too.
Oh, that's
You see that
whole
flag being
topic.
flown all the time.
Well, I've seen them parading through Toronto
Yeah.
or Ottawa, one of the two,
Yeah.
with their flags, and it's like, okay, so what are you trying to claim land here now, buddy? I don't know.
Well, my thing is like, even that, like when something's happening back home from where they are, they feel the right to protest it here.
Go back home.
Well, no, like
Go protest in
you
your
can
own
be
country.
upset. Like if you're from like, let's say you're from, let's say Ukraine. You're from Ukraine and you see what's happening in Ukraine. Okay, yeah. You know what? Um, you can support it, but you don't need to go out in the street and then demand that the Canadian people or the Canadian government need to do something about it when we're not involved with it whatsoever. It's like the Palestine thing. Why is it our responsibility to get involved with that whatsoever? And it's like, well, why don't we pull it up now? It's like in Calgary today, which is November 14th or 15th?
15th.
15th.
I think 15th.
They are flying it's some national day for the Palestine people. And my thing, Palestine people or the Palestinians, they hate the West. Like it's in their like they indoctrinate their kids to believe that like, hey, you have to hate the Jewish people. You have to anyone who's a non-believer, you grew up hating this way, and we're celebrating it. Think about the people who are Jewish in Calgary. They're raising this flag. It's like, oh, okay, cool. These guys are literally believed to hate us, and you're gonna fly that flag, really?
Yeah.
And then
This one is how you only pull up.
yeah, so it says here, Calgary City Hall will fly the Palestinian flag for the first time ever, which, okay. And then, yeah, I don't get it. So it says Calgary City Hall will raise the Palestinian flag for the first time ever on November 30th, which got changed, which is they're flying it today, for the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Why?
Don't know.
They're so far away.
The Palestinian Community Association of Calgary invited the public to join the city's first Palestinian flag raising, highlighting the event as a moment to promote justice, peace, and solidarity with the community.
So
why are we celebrating that community?
The first flag raising.
Yeah.
Are they implying that there's going to be a second and third and fourth and fifth? Are we going to do this every year?
Apparently not, which leads us to our next little clip there, which is our new mayor of Calgary, Jeremy Farkas, says, the new mayor of Calgary, Farkas, says he will introduce a motion to ban the flying of all foreign flags at City Hall, with the Canadian flag being the only flag to fly. 100% agree with this. My thing is...
being the only national flag to fly.
Yeah. Like, listen, I'm Canadian. The only flag that should be flown in Canada, in my opinion, I know I'm going to get hate for this, it should be the Canadian flag. Well, whoops. clip that.
Talking about the rainbow flag?
No. The Canadian flag or your province flag. Now, if you are going to fly another flag, it's impossible not to ban, or it's impossible to ban people from flying flags, right? But it should be flown no higher. It should never fly higher or at the same height as the Canadian flag.
Put it on your car window.
There
you go. If that's what you want to do that.
Yeah. So I don't agree with it, but my thing is like, what about are they going to fly the Israel flag next? Listen, I don't agree with Israel. I don't agree with Palestine whatsoever. I don't think we should fly any other country's flag.
No.
But it's like they're trying to show solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Okay, go over there and fight then. Go show solidarity physically in person.
Well, it's such a hot topic nowadays. It's like, why do we have to show solidarity with every other country? Anytime there's a bad thing going on, it's like we always have to show support, or we always have to where do you stand on the Palestine-Israel thing? Neither. I don't care. Those people have been fighting since the dawn of fucking time. Jews, Muslims have hated each other forever.
Christians, Muslims, same thing.
They've all, fought over that piece of land. I don't care about it. I care about this land here. I don't want that shit here. Plain and simple. If you don't want to fly the Canadian flag, don't. But don't fly that flag here. Hard stop.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's just government pandering to minority groups, like we talked about in the previous podcast. That's what they do. They get these groups riled up. They give them, I guess you could say it as soft power in our country by being able to raise their flag.
My thing is, how many people will show up to there today that are actually Palestinian? I bet you it's like 2%. Or who identify as Palestinian. You know, up until a couple of years ago, I never once heard anyone identify as Palestinian.
I didn't even know it was a country.
Well, I mean, is it? But nonetheless, it's like these liberal white women or, you know, beta bitch boys are, oh, yeah, I stand with the Palestinian people. Okay. Sure. Tell me what you know about Palestine.
It's like a bumper sticker. They don't actually stand with them. If it came down to it, and it was like, okay, all right, you know what? The government's going to pay for all your flights. You fly over there and you go to work, whatever that means. Fight for them, protest for them in that country against Israel on that land. Nobody would go.
No, because it's my thing. Like whenever I see someone like protesting like the Israel-Palestine thing or like marching, I'm like, it's like the equivalent to saying like when you see a natural disaster or something, it's like thoughts and prayers. It does nothing.
No.
Do you think here protesting in Canada is really going to have any effect on Benjamin Netanyahu? He's like, oh shit, yeah, these queer liberals in Calgary are protesting it, guys. Maybe we should really listen to it.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
No. And it's like nothing. You guys have been protesting for a few years now and nothing's been done about it. It's like you guys have no fight in the game. So shut your fucking mouth.
No, you know what that means? You know what? I stand with them. They have to go over there and do something about it. At this point, you know, you've protested, you've tried it. It's not working.
Besides,
you get on a plane and go over there.
Yeah. Besides yelling in the street, making, you know, havoc downtown or posting something on Instagram, what have you actually done to support that? Have you donated money? Have you volunteered to go over there and maybe help with the crisis? No, you haven't done anything. If all you're doing is pissing off the people here that, you know, you maybe could have had people on your side if you went about it the right way, but screaming and yelling and, you know, saying fuck the Jews and all this stuff. I'm like, it does nothing for you.
How about we just, I got an idea. Call me dictator. How about we just ban protesting for foreign countries in our country? If you want a peaceful assembly for issues that are going on in Canada involving Canadians or something that's directly involved with Canada, awesome. But if you want to protest foreign wars that we're not involved in directly or militarily, I mean, sure, we've funded Ukraine. I don't know how much funding we've done for that specific war over there.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't directly involve us or our people, you can't protest here. Go take it to wherever it is that you're protesting, and that's it.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
You're not crazy. You just seem like logical. It's like Canada's like, hey guys, we're not even in this fight. Like there's nothing we can do about it. You guys aren't doing enough. You guys are Zionists. It's like, guys, we're not involved.
Since when have we ever been more than peacekeepers anyway? Since World War II? Maybe we were in Afghanistan, but we didn't play a big role. We're not big arms manufacturers. You know what I mean? We're not an economic powerhouse right now. We can't even afford to do anything. So.
Well, it's like I've said it before. Where's all these protesters of what's going on in Africa right now, and like Sudan, of all the hundreds of thousands of Christians who are getting murdered there? You guys are not doing anything. Even when the peace deal was brokered, shout out Trump for doing that. No one ever wants to acknowledge that.
Shout out Donald J.
Yeah, big man, big orange man. But you know what? Even when the ceasefire and the peace agreement was taken care of, they still wanted to protest. What are you guys doing during the day? Like, if this protest is it's over with, what are you doing?
Nothing. Probably on the government dole. They probably don't even work.
Like, listen, if you want to be an activist and protest, do something that's actually going to have an impact. All you're doing is giving us like shit to talk about on our podcast.
I'll hand it to Greta Thunberg. She at least went over there. She took a boat to Israel to protest. So, I mean, she's at least got some balls on her.
Huh? Why don't
She got arrested. She got arrested there. They threw her in jail. But
Yeah.
you know what? She at least tried. I can't say anything about you cowards here that are protesting it. But
Yeah. Well, that's it. So I want to talk more about Alberta.
yeah, so could Alberta actually separate? So why is separation even a conversation? You know, there's a growing sense that Ottawa ignores Alberta's economic engine. Obviously, they won't even build a pipeline across the country because of green initiatives and blah, blah, blah. Equalization resentment. We've talked about this before. Billions flowing out and little coming back. We have, you know, the Alberta Teachers Association drama going on right now, and they're saying a lack of funding. Well, Danielle Smith has also said that if we had more money within our province that we weren't sending out, then we'd have money to fund these things.
Exactly.
So it's.
Can you imagine if we didn't send how many billions of dollars a year does Alberta send out to the other side of the country?
I think it's 40 or 50 billion, somewhere around there.
So imagine if that money wasn't going across Canada and we kept that here in Alberta. Think about the schools then. Think how fast we could build schools, how many more teachers we could have, smaller classrooms. But no, you guys vote Liberal. Nothing changes, but yet you still bitch about it.
You vote for crazy spending through the Liberal Party. You vote for immigration, which is filling up the schools. I don't feel sorry for you. If you have 40 kids in your class, maybe you should vote differently.
Yeah. If you don't like the way things are going, change it. And then we get not harassed, but people constantly talk shit. It's like, oh, that will never happen, this and that. And you got some facts on that for
yeah, well, I mean, another core driver is federal overreach in energy, environment, guns, agriculture, cultural divergence. Alberta socially and economically are different from Toronto, Ottawa, and Quebec. Clearly,
yeah.
You know, it was like 70% or more conservative here voting for the federal party or for the federal election. You know, and a feeling of we're carrying the country, right? So legal pathways to separation, the realistic ones. So separating isn't as simple as a vote, obviously, right? You know, if we wanted to just vote out, we couldn't. We have to go through the federal government as well. Canada has a very specific legal framework shaped by the 1998 Supreme Court reference and the 2000 Clarity Act. So here's how it would unfold legally. Path A, the Quebec model. They tried this in the 90s. Provincial referendum with a clear question. So we're there right now. It's what we're doing. Example, should Alberta become a sovereign and independent country? It needs a clear majority, not really defined, but likely 50% and a high turnout. Okay? The federal government must negotiate in good faith if the majority is clear. Now, do you expect the federal government to negotiate in good faith?
No.
Probably not.
I don't trust the federal government with anything.
Me neither. So the negotiations with the federal government would cover debt and asset division, borders, Indigenous rights and territories, currency, trade, national resources, citizenship and passports, military and policing. Constitutional amendments likely required, which means 7 provinces representing 50% of the population or unanimous consent, depending on the section.
Okay, so this is one thing people always tell me, is they're like, well, if you guys become your own sovereign state, they're like, you guys are landlocked. It's like, well, just because we become our own sovereign state doesn't mean that we won't still deal with Canada. It just means our dealings will be on our terms.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, well, you'll have no fly zones. How do you expect to get over other? Like, we're not saying we're going to war with Canada. We just said, hey, we want to keep our money in Alberta. We want things to change. And I think like a lot of this, do I think Alberta will separate? I don't think so. But raising these concerns is like even Saskatchewan's looking at it. It's like, yeah, everyone's kind of tired of the way things are going. You threaten it with separation and then people start like, you get enough votes and it's like, oh shit, this could be a thing. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you know, that won't come close, but
flat earth energy.
Yeah. Me and Quinn were looking through some of the comments and
there's some comedians on there.
Yeah. These guys said flat earth energy. And then one guy was like, is the guy on the left a skinhead? Just so you guys know, I am not a skinhead. I am not a white supremacist. Yes, I'm white and I have a shaved head, not of my own doing, okay? I mean, yes, of my own doing, but I'm losing my fucking hair, okay? So I choose to rock a shaved head. My apologies.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then they always say it's like, well, where will your pipelines go?
They're south.
Yeah, where the majority of the pipelines are going.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not saying that like we're not gonna have like be able to trade with Canada again, or but it just gives us better opportunity. Like every province should want their province to do well. And it's like before, it's like, oh, you want Canada to do well. Well, it's like, yeah, we would want that, but the other part of Canada doesn't agree with the way we live our lives. And
Well,
if we're constantly giving money to the people that don't agree with the way we do things, it's like we don't want to be a part of that anymore.
well, you'd also force provinces to make their own money because they don't have Alberta to rely on. So Quebec would have to fire up all the oil and gas that they have. So would Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
Newfoundland, all these places would have to step up their game. And it would force them to create more jobs in Canada. I mean, I'm sure the federal government would probably subsidize foreign workers, but, at least it'd be a start. So that was path A. Path B is a soft independence. So autonomy via provincial powers, which Danielle Smith is somewhat doing already. So Alberta pushes to use the powers it already has. Provincial police, replacing the RCMP. Pension plan, I know people have talked about that, replacing the CPP with APP. There's a lot of questions around that in regards to, okay, I've been paying into it for 30, 40 years. Where's that money going? And then tax collection authority like Quebec. Control over immigration selection, which she's already trying to do. And then provincial revenue agency. Full control of natural resources, refusal of federal programs. This creates a de facto state within a state model. After enough autonomy is gained, a referendum becomes more viable. Right?
Yeah.
So we're already working towards that right now. I think she's silently doing that. And then pass C is a constitutional confrontation. Alberta passes legislation asserting sovereignty, like the Sovereignty Act, and forces Ottawa into a legal constitutional fight. This builds momentum, creates crisis pressure, and could push Ottawa to negotiate. It's basically saying we're sovereign. We're not going to abide by the federal government any longer, which I think would be the easiest path.
Yeah.
Might be difficult. They're going to fight back, but what are they going to do?
Well, a lot of people in the comments on a couple of our videos were saying it's like, well, you guys couldn't even get the oil because it's on, treaty land. It's like, at this point, do you think we give a shit?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to fall in line with us, you can either go or get on board. Those are your two options going forward. Get on board or go.
In order to make drastic change, you have to do drastic things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not going to be held back any longer. If we're going full tilt, we're going full tilt here. And you're either with us or you're not.
Well, it's like,
or do you just let everything perish around you? Do you just let everything fall apart? Okay, we're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to allow the federal government to keep spending us into oblivion and poverty, and also import however many people they want and give our money to other countries. Yeah, because why not? We can't do anything about it anyway. Yeah, right. This is saying that we're going to do something about it. That's the problem.
And more Canadians need to start taking a stand and saying, you know what, enough is enough. Why is it now in 2025, houses are twice expensive to build, twice as expensive to buy, and the houses are built shittier?
Well, it's just wood and plastic out here.
But my thing is, like, the average income, like, I work full time, my wife works full time, and we still barely get by. 50 years ago, you could have one person in the household going to work, the other person staying at home, usually the mother taking care of the kids, doing that. Nowadays, you can't. Things need to change.
Yep.
If Alberta separated or we became our own sovereign state, the average income, I think it was reading, was just over $80K a year. That's just the average. That's not saying like you could make that's just the average person making that.
Yeah.
You could afford a home. And it's like, I always look at the states. It's like, I had one of my sisters lived in Austin, and she showed like what you could buy in Austin versus like Canada. And like a 4-bedroom house, like 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom on like, an acre and a half of land was like $460K.
Yeah, it's much cheaper.
Do you know what $460K could buy you in Canada? Fuck all. The average housing, that one girl who said, like, I can barely put a precise thought together. She's not wrong. I'm terrible at speaking. I'm trying to get better people. But the average home price in Canada, I think, is around like $750K.
Mm-hmm.
$750K? If you're making a certain amount of money a year and the average home price is $750K, you're done. You can't afford that.
You have to make 200,000 or more for
Well,
sure.
I think the average home buyer a couple years ago, it was like mid-20s, 30s. They say now the average home buyer is going to be in their 40s to almost 50s. So you won't be able to buy your home.
Yeah, it'll be much harder. There'll be a lot of hurdles in the way.
Yeah, I don't know how more Albertans are not upset about this, or even Canadians. Guys, our dollar isn't worth fuck all. The CBC is telling people to buy expired food. Like, are you guys fucking retarded? You're telling people you know what's easier?
You know who's saying that, though? It's the Liberal government, that they're using their propaganda arm to say things like that. Just sacrifice, Canadians. Keep going. And how long are we going to sacrifice before we try to do something? You
Yeah.
guys are saying something about Alberta separating and getting mad over it. What else do you do? If you can't democratically vote somebody out because they're just filling up our country with voters who are dependent on them, 43% are dependent on the federal government, how do you have proper voting system with that? You have people who are beholden to the government because they're getting fed by the government.
Yeah, they don't. It's like that saying. It's like you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
if the hand that's feeding you is feeding you fucking bullshit.
Well, they're feeding you and strangling you at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, this kind of leads into another thing we were going to talk about. Canada is in such shit condition right now. Go to one of the clips. I can't remember which one it was. Oh, here we go. Well, this should put into perspective for you guys. So, in this clip, it reads, more than 40% of Canadian births in 2024 had foreign-born mothers. How do you feel about that? Read the stat for me.
New StatsCan figures show a sharp turn in Canada's birth patterns. More than 40% of all babies born in 2024 had a mother born abroad. Among mothers over 40, the share reached 57%. This sits inside a wider trend. Canada now ranks 7th worldwide for the highest foreign-born share. With 5 cities in the global top 10, Brampton is 59% foreign-born, Mississauga is 57%, Toronto is 51.9%, Surrey is 50.8%, Vancouver is 48.8%.
Well, we all know the demographic that lives there,
Yeah.
but go on.
These places are not remote towns. They are the core of our economic and cultural life. Here's the hard part. At a certain scale, talk of assimilation no longer rests on values or goodwill. It rests on math. In any group, numbers guide the norm. Think of a house party. If 2 people join 10 inside, they blend into the room as it stands. But if 6 join 4, the tone shifts at once. New arrivals set the feed for no reason other than size. Cities work the same way. When the foreign-born share nears or crosses 50%, the character of the place changes. No kidding. Look at Brampton. South Asians make up 52.4% of the city, yet hold all 5 federal seats. This says nothing about virtue or fault. It shows how group size shapes power. Here's the deeper geopolitical point. No serious state treats its diaspora as loose threads. The United States, China, India, Israel, each builds networks abroad. Community groups, faith ties, business circles, cultural boards. These are lines of soft influence, not whispers. It is standard work for any nation with global aims. Canada avoids this truth. Once the math tips, the culture tips. And then when that happens, the country people thought they were joining gives way to something new.
Well, and people are going to say, well, it sounds like a race issue. Well,
it is kind of not a racism, but
imagine going to China and not seeing Chinese people.
Yeah. You don't see that, actually. They only have 800,000 immigrants in total.
But it's like we're replacing, and you could say this. It's like, well, being white doesn't make you Canadian. No, but the majority of Canadians were white at one point. Now it's just
not even that long ago.
And it's like, look at the information that's being out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go around, you don't see white people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the language is speaking. It's like you don't hear English.
No, you don't. No.
They're bringing all their like Indian values here. It's just I see this and it's just frustrating. It's like you fly into Toronto. You don't land in Toronto. The minute you go in there, it's just like There's not one white person within view.
Even at the Calgary report, it's the same way.
And it's like, imagine someone who's never been to Canada flying into Canada and be like, oh, I thought Canadians live here. It's like, no. It's like we put up their, religious statues. We adopt their holidays. We fly their flags. Where's the Canadian identity
It's
anymore?
called the Great Replacement Theory. It's not a theory, though. It's actually put in practice in Canada and the UK and other Western European nations, actually.
But it would be different is like if we brought these people over here and then they adopted Canadian values.
They used to.
They used to, not anymore.
That's what that article just said. When you have enough people, then the dynamic changes because the demographic's different.
Well, go to Brampton. Tell me what part of Canada you see in Brampton.
Yeah. Well, this is another reason why people want to separate, because they're tired of all the immigration. And a lot of the hurdles that are in the way are the national constitution. Canada's constitution wasn't designed to let provinces walk away cleanly. You have an indigenous rights, economic disruption, because, they, even in our comments, they're talking about currency questions. Well, what currency are you going to use? The easiest thing to do would be to maintain the Canadian currency, or we could have a deal with the United States to take on their currency, which would be a stronger currency. But, then you've got market volatility, business uncertainty, which people said in the comments, it's not wrong, because the stability of the new nation would be in question. So people would be wondering, okay, how is my business going to fare within that new state? Right. Public opinion. Alberta's also divided. In rural communities, you have high support. Calgary's mixed and Edmonton's low. I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Immigrants generally against it. Well, who cares what they think?
Yeah.
They don't.
If you're not a full-blood Canadian citizen, I don't care. You don't get a vote.
You're probably on the government dole too, anyway. So
yeah.
I mean,
if you're not 100% Canadian, you shouldn't get a vote.
No. So in order to win a referendum, you have to have broad coalition, a clear plan, and reassurance on pensions, passports, and jobs, because financial security is what people care about. A lot of the issues around it were the CPP. Okay, the people that are possibly going to vote for it, what happens to their pension plan if they retire? And I know they have addressed some of this with the APP.
But what if they were, okay, it's like everyone who was in Alberta and has the CPP, Alberta says, okay, you can give us that money, we'll start our own pension plan. And if we were our own sovereign place, well, you look at how much the GDP would be. Your pension would be way better off here than it would in Canada's.
Well, I don't even know if they even have it anymore. The money that they use to give to people now is taken from us who are working. I guarantee it. They probably spent that fund. It's already gone. With the amount of money they're spending in borrowing, it's absolutely absurd. And then the other hurdle would be Ottawa will fight back, because if Alberta separates, 15 to 20% of the national GDP of Canada goes down. 60% of our exports come from Alberta. So, I mean, economically, they would collapse.
My thing is, like, Alberta seems to be the biggest driving factor in the Canadian economy. Why is it that we have to listen to the other side of Canada? It's like imagine a smaller fighting force saying like, no, you can't do this. And it's like, well, we're much bigger and stronger and richer than you guys. Why do we care what you have to think?
Because we don't have a choice. The way the Senate seats work out, we don't have that many seats. If everyone was equal across the board, then we'd have more of a voice in there. But the problem is we only have 6 seats across the prairies in BC, each province. Whereas Quebec and Ontario have 24 each. And even New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, which are smaller than Alberta, have 10 each. So we're outnumbered in the Senate. So with the plan of the Alberta Prosperity Project is, phase 1, education and momentum. Inform Albertans of what independence could look like, show the financial benefits of autonomy, and build a majority support base.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is autonomy measures. Push Alberta to take over policing, pensions, taxation, immigration selection, interprovincial trade barriers removal, full control over natural resources. These steps aren't separation, they're leverage. Phase 3, binding referendum. APP pushes for a clear referendum question. Okay, we've talked about the referendum question, okay? And negotiation and transition. If negotiations begin, Alberta proposes joint security agreements, maintains free movement of goods and people, possibly stays with the Canadian dollar initially.
Yeah.
Okay, sets up Alberta Revenue Agency, Border Services, our own Constitution, our own Supreme Court, and our own armed forces or National Guard model.
Oh, speaking of armed forces, did you see what came out this week?
No.
So the Canadian Armed Forces is in such shit shambles that they said that they're getting 300,000 public servants that are now required to serve. So they're getting them weapons training. I think, here, can you pull that up?
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm going to see if I can find it for you. But that should put it into perspective for you. I think just search that. Yeah. So, here we go. We're just pulling up for you guys here. So, Canadian military will rely on an army of public servants to boost its ranks by 300,000.
What?
Why don't you read that bit?
So it's kind of a conscription on the public servant aspect. The Canadian Forces is counting on public servants to volunteer for military service as it tries to ramp up an army of 300,000 as part of a mobilization plan, according to a Defense Department directive. Federal and provincial employees would be given a 1-week training course in how to handle firearms, drive trucks, and fly drones. 1 week?
What?
Yeah.
According to the directive signed by Chief of the Defense Staff. Oh, of course it's a woman. Jenny, whatever. And is that the girl who was crying on television over racism and discrimination?
I guess so.
And Defense Deputy Minister Stephanie Beck. Why are they all women? The public servants would be inducted into the supplementary reserve, which is currently made up of inactive or retired members of the Canadian Forces who are willing to return to duty if called. At this point, there are 4,800 or 384 personnel in the supplementary reserves, but in the case of an emergency, that would be boosted to 300,000. Perfect. You take them all. Go with their 1 week training. Yeah, they'll do great out there.
1 week of training to
1
fly
week of
drones,
training.
handle firearms, and drive trucks.
Yeah, called on to invade Alberta because they want to separate.
Okay, you know what? Google this. How many current serving members of the armed forces is there?
We already looked it up. It's like 75,000.
That's it.
Yeah,
Oh my lord.
yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
should put into perspective for you guys.
Phase 5 of the APP's program would be establishment of the Republic of Alberta. After negotiations conclude, Alberta declares sovereignty, enacts its constitution, officially becomes an independent nation. So APP models is, let's see, after Czech Republic and Slovakia split, Norway, Sweden split, and Brexit's negotiated exit structure. What an independent Alberta could look like. Economy, low taxes, world-class energy exports, open for business, corporate relocation magnet, strong north-south trade with the U.S. states, potential economic partnership with Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and the Dakotas. Security, Alberta National Guard model. Border enforcement similar to the United States. Identity and culture. Western Canadian identity fully embraced. High levels of personal freedom, strong protection of property rights and firearms.
Yep, there we go.
Anti-corruption, anti-bureaucracy government structure. Currency options, keep the Canadian dollar, no control but least disruption. Pegged Alberta dollar, full Alberta currency, or adopt a USD under agreement. So, brings us to these questions, okay? Is Alberta better off fixing Canada or leaving it? What do you think?
I would say, so I would give the Canadian government, like, listen, you have till the middle of next year. I would even want sooner, but I know how slow the fucking government works, and it's kind of a joke. But
Well, they're quick with immigration and all these other things they want to do.
let's say you have till spring of 2026. If you don't meet our demands, then you know what? We separate.
She's already done that, and they didn't meet the demands of the deadline. And he announced all those major projects, and none of them were pipelines. So he's saying a big F you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but she's already tried that, and he just said, "Screw you."
Well, maybe we need to broker a deal with the states.
But the problem is we're still in Canada, and I know the APP has gone down there and talked to them.
Yeah, it's like, fuck. Get a hold of Trump. Say, look, if the other side of Canada is not agreeing to it, have our back.
Well, just declare sovereignty.
Declare sovereignty, or like say, like, oh man, I'm not opposed to becoming to the 51st state.
Mm-hmm.
Just I feel like then we might, be taken seriously. I don't know what do you do?
Well, the problem is that we've tried voting ourselves out of it by getting a conservative government in there. Not that I'm crazy convinced that it's going to be all
Any better?
hunky dory or any better. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like we just need a reform of the government. I think overall it'd be better off fixing Canada if you could, but the problem is it's so hard to do that. They're so entrenched. They've got all these immigrants coming over here in all the ridings. They're voting liberal when half of them shouldn't even be voting anyways.
Yeah.
You have to be here for at least 10, 15 years and be a citizen before you can vote. There's no free, fair election when you're just allowing anyone to vote with a driver's license.
Yeah.
Okay. And is separation of fantasy a threat or an inevitability?
Should be a threat, first of all. And then it should be, what was the other one?
Inevitability. It's going to happen no matter what, kind of thing.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that word because I'll stutter it, but yes, that option.
Yeah, it's just you get to a point where you're at a loss of what you don't see changes. Changes haven't been happening for a decade now. And I mean, at what point do you just stand up and say enough's enough?
And you know what? To be honest, if we don't see a change in the next little bit here, it's like, we've talked about it plenty of times. Like, I'd love, like, let's move to the States. But it's not as simple as like when people say, oh, if you don't like it, leave. If it was as easy as saying, okay, packing up my stuff and driving across the border, I would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done it. Where, I share similar values. It's like, even when it comes to guns and protection, it's just, I'm tired of being like, Canada's so weak.
Yeah. Well, you have freedom down there, real freedoms that you can defend and protect yourself.
You got a freedom of speech. Oh, Canada has freedom of speech. No, we fucking don't.
We don't.
We have hate speech laws.
Yeah.
Who defines what hate speech is? Even go down there. You're able to defend yourself and your property. Canada doesn't have that.
No.
I want to be proud of where I come from. I don't want to be, accepting and, what's the other word I'm looking for? Tolerant of everyone else's bullshit.
Yep.
You're not being tolerant. You're being fucking weak.
Yeah.
Have some pride. Learn, be men again.
Well, they've killed that. That's the thing is they've killed it. They said you can't defend yourself. You can't defend your property. You can't defend your family. And also, you can't, with a big voice, oppose anything that they're doing.
Because then you're labeled something. Yeah. Either
racist, extremist, you name it.
Phobic of whatever. And it's like, I take a hard stand in what you believe in.
Exactly.
Enough is enough. No, I'm not going to put up with this. No, I don't want to see this stuff anymore. And it's like, you know what? If you offend people, fine. I don't care. I offend people every single day of my life. Deal with it.
Well, and that's what we're doing at the Bears Meat Podcast, guys. So if you agree with us, even the slightest, follow us.
Yeah.
Support us.
Spread the word.
We're one of the few Canadian voices who are actually trying to solve the issue, figure out issues, open dialogue, talk about things. Because when you stop talking, that's when the tyrant voices overpower everybody and they just keep doing what they're doing.
And yeah, well, listen, if you think everything we're saying on this podcast is racist, we're hateful and all that, come on. Well, I want to talk to you. I want to hear your side. Change my mind if you can. Or maybe I can change your mind. But and listen, if you guys just think commenting on our pages is going to stop us from doing this, you're a fucking idiot.
Podcast equipment is very affordable and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. So if you don't like what we're saying, don't listen to it or come on in and let me hear your point of view.
Yeah. Well, if we did separate, what do you think our national animal would be? An oil rig or a bison? Or a bear?
It should be a bear.
Yeah.
A bear with
me podcast.
No, a bear fighting an elk.
That'd be nuts.
Standing up like that and have like the Alberta flag behind it, the mountains. We don't even have to have oil. Just something strong and firm.
Something I could get behind.
Hell yeah. I'd be totally down that. There was another thing I wanted to talk about. It was the politician.
Which one?
Which one? It was the girl. Nope. Going. Oh yeah, this one. Sorry.
Minister announced $392 million
Listen to what she has to say.
to an international effort to help some small farmers, for example, cope and adapt to climate change. This is part of a larger global fund that Canada has already committed to help developing countries deal with and cope with climate change. Here's part of what she had to say.
Climate action and economic prosperity go hand in hand. Through innovation, global cooperation, and ambitious leadership, Canada is helping to shape a clean, resilient, and prosperous future. A future that leaves no one behind.
Except Canadians.
Okay.
Except Canadians.
So
Leave everybody, help everybody else out besides their own people. Got it. Got it.
It says a liberal environment minister gives $392 million to foreign farmers.
What about our farmers? What about that?
The comment, listen to this. This is one of the comments I wanted to read to you guys. So, Sprays Cards 2021 says, I'm a Canadian farmer here. They do this while we are taking an absolute hit from the Chinese and Indian tariffs. By the way, Trump has 0 tariffs on farmers in Canada, so don't believe that narrative. That was in his free trade agreement he signed last term he was in. CBC wants to paint the U.S. as the bad guys when it's our own government destroying this country.
Finally, the truth.
So, Canada's quality of life is down. The CBC is telling us to eat expired food, but we're sending nearly $500 million to other countries to combat climate change.
What a joke. Like, for you liberals out there, do you not see this as a problem? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can you afford your rent? Are your expenses going up? Well, that's why. That's just one instance.
Yeah.
Like, what are they not their own countries? These countries are probably in Africa or the Middle East. They have a lot of resources of their own. Why don't their own governments fund these issues?
Yeah. And why
is it on us?
I don't care about those countries. Let's help ourselves before we help anyone else.
Yep.
It's like the guy who's strung out on heroin telling another addict, like, hey, like, you need to get help. It's like, aren't you guys doing shitty too? Like, why are you telling us? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like an alcoholic telling you not to drink. It's like, is that not a beer in your hand right now? Well, it's different for me, man.
What?
Like,
I mean, it could be good advice. It could be good advice. But at the same time, we're not in a position to do this.
stop all funding to all foreign countries until Canada is way better off. Until every Canadian citizen is not panicking. Everyone can afford a house. Everyone has good paying jobs. We should be keeping this money in Canada. Plain and simple.
Well said.
If you don't agree with that, fucking go away.
No. Yeah.
Go deal with that country then.
Yeah. Go over there and help them yourself. Or you know what? Better yet, take your money and you fund them. How about that? How about we set up funds for all these things that the Liberals want to do, and all the Liberal voters can go send their money that way? How about that? That's a good idea. Then you guys are doing your part for humanity while we're not strangling ourselves. How does that sound?
Yeah. And it's like these politicians get paid so much money.
Yeah.
There's a little news heading I wanted to share with you. It was keep going. It was the black girl. Sorry guys. It's in our messages. Here we go. So just to show you idea.
Is she even Canadian?
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little idea of where money gets spent. So this is Liberal MP leader Ariel Kaya Abanga.
You're speaking her language.
Anyways, when she was a government house leader for a few weeks, she billed Canadians $1,733.
$173,000
Yeah, $173,574 for 9 days worth of personal costs.
personnel.
Oh, sorry, with
Well, maybe they meant to say personal. I don't know.
personnel costs when Parliament wasn't even in session. So
And We Are Canada Proud said, "Oh wow, Mark Carney tells Canadians they have to make sacrifices." See, this is what we're talking about. This is what people on the right side are talking about. You liberal people, wake up! Like, can you not hold your own people accountable? Can we not hold our side accountable? Can we not just all work together to say, okay, there's some clear fraud going on in our country. Can we not help to fix it as a united people?
my thing is, so she's an MP, and she paid her personnel, like, is that her staff, $173,000 for 2 weeks of work?
I don't know.
Fuck you.
That's crazy. Probably went in their home bank account.
You know what? I would like to. You know what?
She didn't even get fired.
Let's reach out to her. I want to ask her where that money went.
Good luck. Reach out to her. We can. I mean, I doubt she'll give you any real answer. They're probably just
It's like these MPs
wiggle around it.
who, like, when it's not in session, it's like, how much money are they making?
Oh, they get paid all year round, no matter what.
Yeah, but they're hard. Like, they take the summer off,
Mm-hmm.
they take the winter off.
They give themselves raises according to what they think
Like,
they're worth.
Let's Google this. What's the average income for a Canadian MP? What do you think it is?
250,000.
No way, really?
Okay.
Wow. So the base salary for an MP is $203,100 as of April 1st, 2024, with a additional income for special roles. For special roles like cabinet minister or prime minister, as of April 1st, 2024, special roles include prime minister earning nearly $500 million. Is that right? No.
What?
$500,000 and cabinet minister earning $300,000. Wow.
Yeah. They make bank just to destroy the country.
I hate seeing them in Congress when they stand up and say their little one-liner remarks and then sit down and they clap. I'm like,
It's a circus. It's just theater. It's theater.
And then you got the guy who sits in the middle. He's like the honorary opposition. Like, that's your role.
Yeah, the guy's a clown.
And they have like the three people in robes ahead of him.
Yeah, we need a new system. We need to get rid of that whole parliamentary system. It's a joke. We need to reform, or we need to separate. Sorry.
Separate all the way.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's good.
That's good.
That's a good Monday rant.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you guys have a good week.
After all that, have a great week.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
Probably won't, but nonetheless, God bless, and share the podcast, please.
Yeah.
And
Tell your mom, tell your dad.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Bears Me Pod. This is the Bears Me Podcast.